Every morning, before the world has a chance to tell you who you should be, you have a brief, powerful moment to decide who you will become. Most people don't realize how valuable those first few minutes are. They wake up and immediately surrender their attention to yesterday's problems, today's worries, or someone else's opinions. Before their feet even touch the floor, they're already carrying the weight of stress, comparison, and doubt. Then they wonder why their days feel rushed, unproductive, and uninspiring. The answer often isn't found in the middle of the day. It begins with the very first conversation you have each morning, and that conversation is the one you have with yourself. Think about it. Every achievement you've ever accomplished started with a thought. Every decision you've ever made was influenced by what you believed in that moment. If your first thoughts are filled with fear, hesitation, and negativity, your actions will quietly follow that direction. But if your first thoughts are filled with purpose, confidence, and gratitude, your entire day begins to move differently. The outside world may not change immediately, but something far more important changes first. You do. That's why the words you tell yourself every morning matter so much. They aren't empty phrases. They're instructions to your mind. They're setting the course for how you'll respond to opportunities, setbacks, conversations, and challenges throughout the day. Your mind is always listening. Whether you realize it or not, it's taking notes. If you repeatedly tell yourself, this is going to be another difficult day, your mind begins searching for proof. If you tell yourself, today is another opportunity to grow, your mind starts looking for possibilities instead of problems. Now, that doesn't mean pretending life is perfect. It doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or acting as though challenges don't exist. It means choosing your perspective before circumstances choose it for you. Every successful person eventually discovers this principle. They understand they cannot always control what happens around them, but they can control the meaning they assign to what happens. That single decision changes everything. When you wake up tomorrow morning, try something different. Before reaching for your phone, before checking messages, before allowing the noise of the world into your mind, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that today is a fresh beginning. Yesterday may have contained mistakes. It may have included disappointments, missed opportunities, or unexpected setbacks. But yesterday no longer has authority over today's decisions unless you give it permission. Every sunrise brings a clean page. The question is, what will you write on it? Tell yourself, today I choose progress over excuses. Today I choose gratitude over complaint. Today I choose courage over fear. These simple declarations may seem small, but never underestimate the influence of repeated thoughts. A single drop of water appears insignificant, yet over time it can shape stone. Your daily thoughts work the same way. They shape your character one morning at a time. You must also understand that your environment will constantly compete for your attention. News headlines, social media, criticism, unexpected problems. None of these wait politely until you're mentally prepared. They arrive early and often. That's why you must prepare your mind before the world begins making demands on it. If you don't intentionally direct your thinking, someone else will gladly do it for you. And the direction they choose may not lead where you want your life to go. Successful living isn't built on occasional moments of inspiration. It's built on ordinary mornings repeated with extraordinary consistency. The champions in any field aren't simply talented people. They are people who learned to win the private battles before the public victories ever appeared. They mastered their thoughts before they mastered their careers. They developed confidence before success gave them a reason to feel confident. They practiced discipline before anyone noticed their results. Remember, your life rarely changes all at once. It changes one decision, one habit, one morning at a time. The person you become 6 months or 5 years from now is already being shaped by the conversations you're having with yourself today. Every morning is an invitation. You can accept it with hope or reject it with doubt. You can rise with intention or drift through another day by accident. The choice is always yours. Never underestimate the quiet power of beginning your day with the right mindset. Long before the world sees your success, your mind must first believe it is possible. Guard those first moments of your morning as though your future depends on them, because in many ways it does. When you learn to direct your thoughts instead of being directed by them, you begin taking control of your life in ways you never imagined. Win the morning, and you give yourself the best chance to win the day. Once you've learned to guide your thoughts, instead of letting your thoughts guide you, the next conversation you need to have with yourself each morning is even more powerful. Look yourself in the mirror and say, today, I am responsible for my life. Those simple words carry more strength than most people realize. They separate people who merely hope their lives improve from those who actually make improvement inevitable. Responsibility isn't a burden to fear. It's the greatest freedom you'll ever possess. The moment you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for life to change and start becoming the reason it changes. It's easy to point to circumstances when things don't go according to plan. It's easy to blame the economy, difficult people, bad luck, or yesterday's mistakes. And certainly life isn't always fair. Unexpected events happen to everyone. There will always be challenges you didn't ask for and obstacles you didn't create. But here's something worth remembering. While you may not control every event that enters your life, you always control your response to it. That response becomes the foundation of your future. Think about two people facing the exact same challenge. One spends weeks asking, "Why did this happen to me?" The other asks, "What can this teach me?" One stays trapped in frustration, while the other begins moving toward growth. The difference isn't intelligence. It isn't talent. It isn't even opportunity. The difference is ownership. One believes life is happening to them. The other believes they have the power to shape what comes next. Every morning gives you another opportunity to reclaim that power. Before you begin your day, remind yourself that your attitude belongs to you. Your work ethic belongs to you. Your habits belong to you. Your choices belong to you. No one else wakes up and decides whether you'll be patient today or impatient. No one chooses whether you'll keep your promises or break them. No one decides whether you'll take one more step toward your goals or make another excuse. Those decisions are always yours. That's incredibly good news because it means your future isn't locked away in someone else's hands. It isn't waiting for perfect conditions. It isn't dependent on everyone agreeing with you or supporting you. It's being built by the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Every responsible choice, no matter how small, is like placing another brick in the foundation of the life you want. Many people underestimate the power of small decisions because they're looking for dramatic changes. They think success arrives through one giant breakthrough. But lasting success usually grows quietly. It's choosing to wake up when the alarm rings instead of pressing snooze. It's choosing to read 10 pages instead of scrolling endlessly. It's choosing to keep your word when it's inconvenient. It's choosing to save a little instead of spending everything. These choices may appear ordinary, but repeated consistently, they create extraordinary lives. You must also understand that responsibility doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. In fact, responsible people make mistakes just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't waste energy denying them. They admit them, learn from them, adjust, and keep moving. That's real maturity. Failure isn't what holds most people back. Refusing to learn from failure does. Imagine how much lighter life becomes when you stop carrying the weight of blame. Blame keeps your eyes fixed on the past. Responsibility turns your eyes toward the future. Blame asks who caused the problem. Responsibility asks what's the next step. Blame keeps you waiting. Responsibility gets you moving. And movement, even slow movement, always beats standing still. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment when they stop saying someone should do something and start saying, I'll do something. That's the turning point. That's where ordinary people begin becoming extraordinary. They stop waiting for permission. They stop waiting for confidence to magically appear. They understand that confidence often follows action, not the other way around. Each morning, remind yourself that you are the author of today's chapter. You cannot rewrite yesterday's pages, but you can write today's with intention. If yesterday was filled with hesitation, write today with courage. If yesterday included wasted time, write today with purpose. If yesterday brought disappointment, let today bring determination. Life doesn't demand that you have a perfect past. It asks only that you make wise decisions in the present. As you continue building this morning habit, you'll notice something remarkable. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you'll begin feeling like the architect of your future. That shift changes the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you think, and the way you act. People may notice your confidence, but what they're really seeing is the quiet strength that comes from taking ownership of your life. So before you leave your home each morning, pause for just a moment and remind yourself, today I am responsible for my choices, my attitude, my effort, and my future. Those words will keep you focused when distractions appear, steady when challenges arise, and determined when the easy path begins calling your name. The day you accept full responsibility is the day your life truly begins to change. Now, once you've taken ownership of your life, there's another promise you need to make to yourself every single morning. It's a promise that separates people who dream from people who achieve. Stand tall, look yourself in the eye, and say, today, I will stay disciplined even when I don't feel like it. Those words may not sound exciting, but they carry the power to reshape your entire future. Because if there's one lesson life teaches over and over again, it's this. Feelings come and go, but discipline stays. And the people who learn to follow discipline instead of emotion are the ones who eventually create extraordinary lives. Most people wait until they feel motivated before they take action. They say they'll start exercising when they feel energized. They'll begin reading when they feel inspired. They'll work on their goals when they're in the right mood. The problem is that feelings are unpredictable. Some mornings you'll wake up full of energy, and other mornings you'll wake up tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your actions depend on your emotions, then your progress will always be inconsistent. You'll move forward one day and backward the next, never building enough momentum to reach your full potential. Discipline changes that. Discipline says, I made a commitment, and my commitment matters more than my comfort. It teaches you to act according to your values instead of your temporary emotions. That's a powerful shift because emotions are like the weather. They change constantly. Discipline is like the compass. It keeps pointing you in the right direction regardless of the conditions. Think about the areas of life where people admire excellence. Whether it's business, athletics, leadership, music, or personal growth, the people at the top didn't arrive there because they felt inspired every morning. They arrived there because they honored the routine on the days they didn't feel like showing up. They understood that greatness is rarely built during moments of excitement. It's built during ordinary days when no one is watching, when applause is absent, and when quitting would be easy. Every morning, remind yourself that today's small decisions are quietly shaping tomorrow's results. Choosing to get out of bed when the alarm rings may seem insignificant, but it's more than waking up on time. It's teaching yourself that your word matters. Choosing to complete the workout even when you're tired isn't just strengthening your body. It's strengthening your character. Choosing to finish the task instead of procrastinating isn't just about productivity. It's building trust between you and yourself. That trust is one of the most valuable things you'll ever develop. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows, not because someone praised you, but because you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. On the other hand, every time you repeatedly break promises to yourself, something inside begins to weaken. You start questioning your own commitment. You begin doubting your ability to follow through. Confidence doesn't disappear overnight. It slowly fades whenever your actions stop matching your intentions. This is why discipline is actually a form of self-respect. When you respect yourself, you don't constantly negotiate with excuses. You don't say maybe tomorrow. You understand that every unnecessary delay has a cost. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and before long, years have passed while potential remained untouched. Time is always moving. The only question is whether you're moving with it or allowing it to move without you. Now, don't misunderstand what discipline really means. It doesn't mean becoming rigid or joyless. It doesn't mean working yourself into exhaustion or expecting perfection. Discipline is simply the decision to consistently do what matters most, even when it's inconvenient. Some days your best effort will look different than it did yesterday, and that's perfectly fine. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. Keep showing up. Keep taking the next step. Keep honoring the commitments you've made. You'll discover something remarkable along the way. The actions that once felt difficult begin to feel natural. The habits that once required effort become part of your identity. You no longer have to convince yourself to make the right choice because you've repeated it enough times that it becomes who you are. That's the hidden reward of discipline. At first, you force the habit. Eventually, the habit shapes you. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. There will always be easier paths promising quicker rewards. Comfort will whisper that missing one day doesn't matter. Excuses will sound logical. Procrastination will disguise itself as preparation. But remember, every decision is a vote for the person you're becoming. Each disciplined action strengthens that future version of yourself. Each excuse delays the life you're capable of creating. When challenges come, and they will, discipline becomes your anchor. Motivation might disappear during difficult seasons, but discipline continues showing up. That's why disciplined people often appear calm under pressure. They've trained themselves to rely on commitment rather than emotion. They understand that success isn't determined by how you perform on your best days. It's determined by what you choose to do on your hardest ones. So tomorrow morning, before you step into your responsibilities, remind yourself of this simple promise. Today, I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. Those words won't make the work easier, but they will make you stronger. And strength, built one disciplined decision at a time, becomes the foundation for every meaningful achievement that follows. Discipline today is the freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow. After you've trained yourself to think intentionally, accepted responsibility for your life, and committed to staying disciplined regardless of how you feel. There's one more truth you should remind yourself of every morning. Say it with conviction. Every challenge I face today is making me stronger. Those words have the power to completely change the way you experience life. They don't remove obstacles, but they transform your relationship with them. And once your perspective changes, your future begins to change as well. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid difficulty. They hope for a life with no setbacks, no disappointments, no criticism, and no failure. But if such a life existed, it wouldn't produce strength. It would produce weakness. Think about it. A muscle grows only when it's challenged. A tree develops deep roots because it must withstand strong winds. A diamond is formed under pressure. Nature itself reminds us that growth and comfort rarely exist in the same place. The same is true for your life. Every meaningful lesson you've learned probably came from a season you didn't choose. The moments that shaped your character weren't the easy ones. They were the moments when your plans fell apart, when people let you down, when success seemed far away, or when you questioned whether you had what it takes. At the time, those experiences felt like obstacles. Looking back, you realize they were teachers. That's why the words you speak to yourself each morning matter so much. If you wake up believing that every problem is proof that life is against you, you'll spend your day frustrated and discouraged. But if you wake up believing that every challenge is an opportunity to grow wiser, stronger, and more capable, you'll begin to approach difficulties with a completely different attitude. Imagine starting your day knowing that whatever happens today has the potential to improve you. Someone criticizes your work. Instead of becoming defensive, you ask yourself what you can learn. A plan doesn't work out. Instead of giving up, you look for a better strategy. You encounter an unexpected setback. Instead of seeing a dead end, you begin searching for another path. The situation hasn't changed, but you have. And that changes everything. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that successful individuals somehow escaped hardship. They didn't. They simply learned to use hardship differently. While others allowed disappointment to stop them, they allowed disappointment to teach them. While others saw failure as a verdict, they saw it as valuable feedback. Every setback became another citizen. Every obstacle became another stepping stone. You have that same choice every single day. Life will present challenges whether you're ready or not. Some will be small inconveniences, while others may shake your confidence. But remember this. The challenge itself doesn't determine your future. Your response to it does. Two people can walk through the exact same storm and emerge completely different, not because the storm treated them differently, but because they chose different attitudes while they were in it. It's also important to understand that strength isn't built in dramatic moments alone. Sometimes it's developed through quiet endurance. It's choosing patience when you're frustrated. It's remaining kind when others are unkind. It's continuing to work on your dream when results seem slow. It's getting back up after another disappointment and saying, I'm not finished yet. Those moments may never make headlines, but they build a kind of resilience that cannot be taken away. Don't be afraid of temporary discomfort. Too many people sacrifice long-term success for short-term comfort. They avoid difficult conversations, difficult decisions, and difficult work because it feels easier in the moment. But comfort has a hidden cost. Every time you run from necessary challenges, you also run from the growth attached to them. The opportunity and the obstacle often arrive together. If you reject one, you usually lose the other. Each morning, remind yourself that your greatest breakthroughs may be hiding inside today's greatest difficulties. The difficult conversation might strengthen an important relationship. That demanding project might develop skills you didn't know you had. That unexpected setback might redirect you toward a better opportunity than the one you originally planned. Life has a remarkable way of rewarding those who refuse to quit simply because the road became difficult. You don't need to know exactly how every challenge will benefit you. You simply need the confidence to believe that if you meet it with courage, patience, and persistence, it will leave you wiser than it found you. That's how character is built. Not in comfort, but in the consistent decision to keep moving forward when moving forward isn't easy. And here's something else worth remembering. The challenges you're overcoming today are preparing you to help someone else tomorrow. One day, someone will face the same fears, the same setbacks, and the same doubts you've experienced. Your story of perseverance may become the encouragement they desperately need. Your scars may become proof that difficult seasons don't last forever. Sometimes the struggles you wish had never happened become the very experiences that allow you to lift others. So tomorrow morning, before the day begins to test you, make this promise to yourself. Whatever comes my way today, I will not complain, I will not retreat, and I will not let difficulty define me. I will let it develop me. Hold on to that promise when the unexpected happens. Hold on to it when progress feels slow. Hold on to it when giving up seems easier than pressing on. Because every challenge you overcome leaves you stronger than you were the day before. Your obstacles are not blocking your path. They are building your strength. By now, you've learned to begin your morning with the right thoughts, to take full responsibility for your life, to remain disciplined even when your emotions try to pull you off course, and to see challenges as opportunities instead of obstacles. Now comes another powerful reminder that can completely change the pace of your progress. Every morning, tell yourself, today I will improve by 1%. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Just 1%. Most people overlook it because they're searching for dramatic transformations. They want overnight success, instant confidence, or a breakthrough that changes everything in a single day. But life doesn't usually work that way. Real success is quieter than that. It's built through small improvements repeated consistently until they become impossible to ignore. 1% may not seem like much. You probably won't notice a dramatic difference by the end of the day. In fact, you might wonder whether anything has changed at all. But that's exactly how progress works. It's not always visible in the beginning. A seed planted today doesn't become a tree tomorrow, yet every day beneath the surface, something important is happening. Roots are growing before branches appear. Strength is developing before anyone sees the results. Your own life follows the same pattern. Too many people quit because they don't see immediate rewards. They exercise for a week and expect a completely different body. They read one book and expect instant wisdom. They work toward a goal for a month and become discouraged because success hasn't arrived yet. They confuse slow progress with no progress. But those are two very different things. Slow progress is still progress, and if you stay committed to it, it eventually produces extraordinary results. Think about how habits are formed. No one becomes disciplined overnight. No one becomes financially secure because of one smart decision. No one builds strong relationships through a single conversation. Everything meaningful in life is built one choice at a time. Every positive habit begins as a small action repeated until it becomes part of your identity. That's why your daily choices deserve far more attention than your occasional achievements. When you wake up each morning, don't ask yourself, how can I completely change my life today? That question often feels overwhelming. Instead, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do a little better today than I did yesterday? Maybe today you'll spend 10 extra minutes reading instead of scrolling through distractions. Maybe you'll choose patience instead of anger during a difficult conversation. Maybe you'll complete one task you've been avoiding. These actions may appear small, but they are shaping a future that larger actions alone could never create. Here's something worth remembering. Success rarely announces itself while it's being built. Most of the important work happens quietly. No audience applauds you for waking up early. No headlines celebrate the fact that you kept your promise to yourself for another day. No one notices when you choose learning over laziness or preparation over procrastination. But those quiet victories are the ones that matter most because they build the person capable of handling greater opportunities when they arrive. Many people spend too much time comparing their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. They look at people who have already achieved remarkable things and become discouraged because they're not there yet. But comparison steals energy that could be invested in growth. The only person you truly need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. If you've become a little wiser, little kinder, a little stronger, or a little more disciplined than you were before, you're moving in the right direction. There will be days when improvement feels effortless, and there will be days when even 1% feels difficult. Don't let that discourage you. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. There will be moments when you stumble, when you miss a day, or when life interrupts your plans. That's not the end of the journey. The important thing is to begin again without allowing one setback to become a permanent habit. Progress belongs to those who refuse to let temporary failure become a permanent identity. You also have to trust the power of compounding. A single good decision may not transform your life, but thousands of good decisions certainly will. One healthy meal won't change your health, but months of healthy choices will. One honest conversation won't build lifelong trust, but years of honesty will. One morning of positive thinking won't reshape your mindset, but repeating those thoughts day after day will gradually change the way you see yourself and the world around you. As your daily improvements accumulate, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop chasing success and start becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. Your habits become stronger. Your confidence becomes quieter but more genuine. Your character becomes more dependable. And before long, People begin to notice what seems like an overnight transformation. What they don't see are the hundreds of mornings when you chose to improve by just 1%, even when no one was watching. So when tomorrow begins, don't put pressure on yourself to conquer the entire mountain in a single day. Focus on taking one meaningful step. Read one more page. Learn one new lesson. Make one better decision. Keep one more promise to yourself. Small actions repeated faithfully create extraordinary lives. Remember, greatness is never built in one giant leap. It is built through countless small steps taken with unwavering commitment. Improve a little every day, and one day you'll discover you've become the person you once only dreamed of. As we bring these morning conversations together, there is one final truth that deserves to become part of your daily routine. Before you step into the world each morning, pause for a moment and tell yourself, my future depends on what I do today. Those words are more than a motivational statement. They are a reminder that the future is not something waiting for you somewhere down the road. It is something you are building right now, one decision at a time. Every sunrise places fresh material in your hands, and with your choices, you begin constructing the life you will eventually live. It's easy to think that tomorrow is where everything will change. Tomorrow, you'll become more disciplined. Tomorrow, you'll start taking care of your health. Tomorrow, you'll begin saving money, learning new skills, repairing relationships, or pursuing the dream you've been carrying in your heart. But tomorrow has a strange habit of becoming another tomorrow. Before long, weeks turn into months, months become years, and people are left wondering where all the time went. Life rarely changes because of intentions alone. It changes because intentions are followed by action. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, but if they never leave your imagination, they remain nothing more than possibilities. Possibilities are exciting, but action is what transforms them into reality. Every successful person eventually reaches a point where they stop collecting reasons and start collecting results. That transition always begins with today's choices. Think about the incredible value of a single day. 24 hours may not seem like much, but it's enough time to learn something new, strengthen a relationship, improve your health, make progress on an important goal, or recover from yesterday's mistakes. Every day arrives carrying opportunities that may never come again. Once today is gone, you cannot buy it back, borrow it, or relive it. Time is the one resource equally given to every person. Yet it's the way people invest it that creates completely different lives. That's why your mornings matter so much. They remind you that every new day is another opportunity to vote for the person you want to become. Every choice is casting a vote. When you choose discipline over distraction, you're voting for a stronger future. When you choose gratitude over complaint, you're voting for a more peaceful life. When you choose learning over comfort, you're voting for greater wisdom. The future isn't shaped by one grand decision. It's shaped by thousands of small votes repeated consistently over time. There will always be reasons to postpone your best life. You'll tell yourself you're too busy, too tired, too old, too young, too inexperienced, or waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment rarely arrives. Most opportunities are created by people who decide to begin before they feel completely ready. Courage isn't the absence of uncertainty. Courage is taking the next step while uncertainty is still present. Imagine where your life could be 1 year from now if you truly honored these morning promises every single day. Imagine waking up with purpose instead of confusion. Imagine taking responsibility instead of making excuses. Imagine practicing discipline instead of depending on motivation. Imagine welcoming challenges because you know they're making you stronger. Imagine improving just 1% every day without demanding perfection from yourself. Day after day, week after week, month after month, those small choices would quietly transform your habits. Your habits would reshape your character. Your character would influence your destiny. People often ask what the secret to success is, expecting to hear about some hidden strategy or extraordinary opportunity. But more often than not, success is simply the natural outcome of ordinary actions performed consistently over an extraordinary period of time. There is no shortcut that can replace character. There is no substitute for discipline. There is no magical formula that can outperform steady effort combined with the right mindset. And here's something beautiful about this journey. You don't have to change your entire life today. You simply have to win today. That's all. Focus on making today count. Tomorrow will eventually become today, and when it does, you'll have another opportunity to make that day count as well. String enough good days together, and you'll create a remarkable life almost without realizing it. Never underestimate the power of repetition. The words you speak to yourself each morning gradually become the beliefs you carry throughout the day. Those beliefs influence your decisions. Your decisions shape your habits. Your habits determine your direction, and your direction ultimately determines your destination. Everything begins with what you choose to believe when the day is still quiet. So tomorrow morning, before the demands of the world compete for your attention, remind yourself of these simple truths. Tell yourself that your thoughts matter. Tell yourself that your life is your responsibility. Tell yourself that discipline is stronger than emotion. Tell yourself that every challenge is making you stronger. Tell yourself that improving by 1% is enough for today. And finally, tell yourself that your future is being built by what you choose to do right now. If you repeat those promises day after day, they will stop being words and start becoming your identity. Your mindset will change, your habits will change, your confidence will grow, your actions will become more intentional. And one morning you'll look back at the person you used to be and realize that the greatest transformation didn't happen all at once. It happened one sunrise, one decision, and one promise at a time. Because the life you've been hoping for doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you decide that today matters. Chant your mornings and you'll change your destiny.